Broadcasting to you live, Lusaka businessman escapes lynching at the hands of some Mungu residents. Bus commuters in Mansa condemn defiant bus drivers over the fares. One person has died in South Africa due to GBS after receiving the Johnson & Johnson. He remains unshakable and tells off his critics. And now with the details, I'm Virginia Chilongo. Some concerned bus commuters in Mansa district of Luapula province have bemoaned the high prices of bus fares. This is despite a 5 kwacha bus reduction in fares by Road Transport and Safety Agency, RTSA. One of the concerned commuters, Lucy Kasonga, says that they have continued paying an amount of over 200 kwacha from Mansa to Nchelenge despite the announced reduction in fuel pump prices, and also on bus fares for long distances at 14%, 5 kwacha locally and 7 kwacha intermine and peri-urban. And Jackson Katongo has wondered why some bus operators have failed to comply with government announcement of reducing bus fares. However, a bus operator says they do not have a fixed fare chart to follow, which may be difficult for them to put a fixed price on buses, as some even ask for a reduction from them. Now, one person has died in South Africa due to Guillain-Barre syndrome, GBS, after receiving the Regulatory Authority Chief Executive Officer, Boitumelo Makakotle, says about 160 deaths possibly associated with the vaccination were investigated, and only this case was found to be related to it. One person has died in South Africa. National Health Products Regulator. The South African Health Products Regulatory Authority Chief Executive Officer, Boitumelo Semete Makokotlela, says about 160 deaths possibly associated with the vaccination were investigated, and only this case was found to be related to it. GBS is a rare but severe adverse event that is associated with the administration of various vaccines and other medicines, and can also be triggered by infections such as SARS-CoV-2.
So what GBS is that is generalized muscle weakness. It usually starts off from the lower limb quickly, and that is when people end up in ICU.
A few days later, after taking the J&J, the patient experienced the symptoms and they presented to the medical officer, but at that point in time it was not necessarily identified as the GBS case. However, as the condition progressed and then they went again for consultation, that's when it was actually identified to be a GBS case.
Health authorities are urging South Africans not to panic, noting the benefits of COVID-19 vaccination far outweigh the very low risk of severe adverse events. Official figures show that to date, around 6,200
in the context, we have administered 37 million doses of the vaccine, including more than 9 million doses of the J&J vaccine. So the risk of serious adverse events following immunization remains extremely small.
The occurrence of that particular sort of syndrome, especially for the J&J vaccine, is in the region of about 4 to 8 cases per million doses of vaccine that have been administered. But out of that 4 to 8 cases, we don't expect any of them to actually die. So unfortunately,
that the COVID-19 death toll would have been much higher. Now, it is estimated by the World Health Organization that vaccines saved at least 20 million lives in the first year of the pandemic.
The benefit outweigh the risk for COVID-19 vaccines. So we do still say that the population, they still needs to go and vaccinate, because it has been proven that COVID-19 vaccines, they can prevent severe form of disease.
Virginia Chilongo, MUVI TV News. In Mongu, where some residents Monday morning are said to have managed to corner a Lusaka Mongu businessman who promised a Mongu-based mobile booth operator that he would make more money for him if he was given half the price using black magic, despite it being a bad day at the office for the said businessman, only identified as Adrian Mwenya, who, with the help of Kapulanga police, managed to escape the angry mob unhurt. Western Province Acting Commanding Officer Fwambo Siame says Mr. Mwenya was picked from
Day at the office for Mwelwa Adrian, 27-year-old Mongo Lusaka businessman who is believed to be making a living through making money for others using black magic. Mwelwa, a Lusaka resident from Mutendere compound, was cornered by some residents to 1,000 kwacha. Mr. Kanema narrated that the suspect collected 100 kwacha and later returned the 300 kwacha, and as of Monday the rituals. However, Mr. Mwewa's tricks were seemingly not so good that his clients were able to tell that all was fake.
So now we will die. So from Timabula Chapati, can't see and to never
Western Province Acting Commanding Officer for Ambosiame confirmed the development to MUVI TV News, stating that a docket case of obtaining money by false pretense
here in Western on 8th August 2022 at around 11 hours, the complainant, male Makwewo Kamema, age 26 years, of Mandanga compound here in Mongo district, reported that his money amounting to 1,000 kwacha was obtained falsely from him by male Osaka today on the 8th August 2022 at around 11 hours in Mandanga compound. The suspect and took him to Kanyonyo police post, the suspect was occupying, and in the room they found some cut pieces of paper soaked in some liquid which had actually turned.
Now, a 39-year-old woman of Lusaka is appealing to well-wishers to assist her with a job which can in turn enable her provide for her 3 children. Single mother Jane Mambo says her hope to a better life on the recent health worker recruitment has just added another pain, as she is among those who have been left out of the recruitment process. She has lamented to MUVI TV News that because of lack of employment, she is finding difficulties to feed her 3 children, hence calling for help in terms of a job. Ms. Mambo says she is ready to work if offered a job.
Because I'm not working. Tinisungevana ni bajese sinikwanisa life yanikosela na yesa kulaonda. I applied under means of health as a general worker. My name was not there.
After hopeless, as she is now calling on well-wishers to offer her employment of any sort so that she can give her children a meal and their daily need, in a she is not happy with.
Better nitenge na bana banga na bebe tufe pamoja because nikasi bana banga kunja bazavutika the same way I'm suffering. Bana bazankala life ya bwanje. Sinifuna kuti ba move bakabwero ko pachitumba titapeza muntu azipa ya munyumba apa ya kumozi na bana. Sinifuna. Better banipase vochita, nipase ni vochita. I'm ready to work.
It is evident that there are many without jobs, as the figures of job seekers in the health worker, teacher and census recruitment was 3 times.
We take our first break. We'll be right back.
Manje mawe yasiya kuti ndikakhale fumu. Ndangisifu kala fumu. Sorry mafoni. Ha? Mwadi? Mama leo. Ndwera. Ukukuba na uli mnimome wako niyo. Kwa mene uko mwemva puino atate chief. Soti osanikata wangu. Sanataya njia.
Muntu oyipa iwe. Iwe shwa maimangize oshwa demu yako paliye nilikuwalale shunga ende kulala mnganda mwangu yomweza banda beka iwe. Adadi mwanikuosha choyamba
mwanikola nuzi.
Asapela kuikala chapa mo The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the census, police and correctional facilities. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Around is called the New Deal Game Show. The deal. Stand a chance to win yourself a variety of household goods ranging from TV sets, cash money. There's a lot of money that is up for grabs every day that you're going to participate on the show, be it daily, weekly, and at the end, which is a grand draw. So how to play? Dial *265 *132 75 star. That is all you got to do to participate in the New Deal Game Show. Come and win. So stand a chance to win
Money wallet when traveling across Africa. Step 1. Get used to a new place. Step 2. Learn the language and culture. Step 3. Pay your bills in a foreign country using your home Airtel Money wallet. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back to the Primetime News. Network for People Against Violence Executive Director Moses Kalonde has lodged in a complaint against the Examination Council of Zambia, ECZ, and the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, for allowing the former Kwacha MP Joseph Malanji to file in his nomination as a candidate for Patriotic Front in last year's elections. Speaking in an interview at the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC offices in Lusaka, Mr. Kalonde says there was an element of corruption and bribery between Malanji and the two institutions. Mr. Kalonde wondered how Malanji managed to file in his nomination papers when he did not possess and present his grade 12 certificate. He has, however, appealed to the ACC to investigate the matter and bring all the culprits to book.
Our simple task was to officially lodge a complaint before the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC concerning the jaw stemming from the High Court ruled that Honorable Malanji didn't have a grade 12 certificate. As you may be aware that a grade 12 certificate is a prerequisite. I'm sure the nation must have been wondering as to what happened. What was presented before ECZ, Examination Council of Zambia, what document did Honorable Malanji present? What was verified? We want to know, like many others, what transpired is to come to Anti-Corruption Commission so that they can thoroughly investigate this matter to the end, to its logical.
Parliament are people who pass laws that govern this nation. So if they are engaged in issues bordering on corruption, fraud, then it means that even the laws that are passed in Parliament do not mean anything. As long as members of Parliament are engaged in such vices, or people aspiring such vices are stopped at all costs, even before they enter Parliament. Looking at the issue of Mr. Malanji, unfortunately I can't call him Honorable Malanji because what he did was unhonorable. So looking at his
Chief Hamusonde of the Lundwe people of Wengwa area in Monza district in Southern Province has conferred Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland with the status of head woman in his chiefdom for playing a major role to save the lives of the people in his chiefdom. The chief has also recognized the efforts of Telesfo Mpundu, John Sangwa, Linda Kasonde, Laura Miti, and Chama Fumba, popularly known as Pilato, who played an instrumental part in voicing out their democratic views in governance matters. Speaking through a representative, Gift Monday, at the ongoing 2022 Luindi Luanza traditional ceremony, Chief Hamusonde says the people mentioned and many others made sure that the democracy of the country is protected and that Zambia was on a stable path and that the rule of law was exercised during and after the 2021 general elections, which saw the new administration transition into power. Meanwhile, Chief Hamusonde has traditionally released President Hakainde Hichilema, who hails from his chiefdom and serves as senior villageman, to serve the entire country and not only the people of Wengwa. The chief says President Hichilema now belongs to all the 10 provinces, whose interests must now be his focus. Chief Hamusonde says the decision is meant to unify the country, as the head of state was now a son of the 10 provinces and not the Hamusonde chiefdom alone. And President Hakainde Hichilema has accepted the decision taken by Chief Hamusonde to hand him over to the people of Zambia. He told the people of Wengwa to accept and understand that he is now the Republican president whose duty is to serve the entire country. As a symbolic gesture of release, Chief Hamusonde handed the president a short spear and a working stick.
President Hakainde Hichilema has been traditionally released to save the Zambian people and not only the people of Wengwa, where he hails from. Chief Hamusonde has performed this task. And the president is up to the game.
Yes, I was born here, grew up. You married me off to 18 million Zambians. You married me off to 116 districts. You married me off to 10 provinces of Zambia. And that is the way it is. Now, because nimemuga banji jimwiji ndita mugamboni kuno, because njigira bali kule abalomba na Zambia, we thank you for accepting that position.
Chief Hamusonde has also honored Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland with the
stakeholders in making sure that democracy is protected and preserved in the country. Mr. President, I have Madam Patricia Scotland, who will introduce the Harimwanga Kumbula National Award to honor these citizens of the world.
Mike Munkombwe, Zanis, in Wengwa, Monze District.
Republican Vice President Mutalena Lumango says government will continue to uphold cordial relations with traditional leaders. In Spear, Mrs. Nalumango regards traditional leaders as key partners in promoting peace and national building. Meanwhile, Mrs. Nalumango says government is aware of the many challenges affecting chiefdoms and the country at large, such as the poor road network, lack of infrastructure, as well as chiefs' palaces. Mrs. Nalumango has since assured traditional leaders that the government is working towards improving the quality of life for all, and traditional leaders are no exception. The Vice President said this in a speech read on her behalf by Minister of Science and Technology, Felix Mutati, during the installation of Chief Mukupakaoma of Lunte District. She praised the Lungu Royal Establishment for holding a successful installation ceremony without any succession disputes, and the Lungu Royal of Stolen Public Resources. Senior Chief Tafuna of the Lungu people said caused by some sections of society that the fight against corruption is merely a witch hunt targeted at some people from certain regions does not hold water. He noted that the issue of tribal witch hunt does not arise in this case, as people given responsibility of managing public resources should be ready to account for them. The traditional leader added that corruption is a cancer which should not be entertained in the country, as it is detrimental to the development of the nation. Senior Chief Tafuna has since called on Zambians to support President Hichilema's stance on corruption and desist from tribal talks, which could lead to further divisions in the country. The traditional leader was speaking during the installation ceremony of Enoch Musonda as Chief Mukupa Kauma of Lunte District. Meanwhile, Senior Chief Tafuna says the government has scored remarkable progress in attaining most of its over 30,000 teachers and 11,000 health workers is a milestone in the recruitment of professionals in the civil service. The traditional leader has further praised the UPND administration for increasing the Constituency Development Fund (CDF), implementing the free education policy, and paying retirees their dues. Speaking earlier, Paramount Chief Chitimukulu of the Bemba people urged the traditional leadership to work with government, represented by Senior Chief Mwamba and Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu. Also hailed the Lungu Royal Establishment for observing the traditional values during the appointment of the new chief. Mr. Mpundu appealed to the establishment to expedite the processing of documents to enable government gazette the newly installed chief. In other news, member of the Central Committee under the former ruling party, the United National Independence Party, UNIP, Reverend Andrew Mwima, has expressed disappointment in the manner the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Zambian economy and the lifestyle of the Zambian people. He says there is lack of vision, policy, as well as inconsistencies in ministries which make it not to flourish. He further says that Green Economy Ministry involves the participation of the public and the rights of the workers, which help in promoting health, environment, lifestyle, and the ways of earning a living. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwima has appealed to the ministry to ensure that it encourages and trains people to programs that will help in promoting sustainable development.
Is operating in Zambia. In an interview with MUVI TV, Mr. Mwima had this to say.
Here to express our disappointment at the way the Ministry of Green Economy is operating. We realize the lifestyle of the Zambian people, but from what we see, there is lack of vision casting, there is lack of policy, and we see a lot of inconsistency in all these things.
However, Mr. Mwima has appealed to the Ministry of Green Economy to ensure that it encourages...
What we see is more like public relations, but we really want them to get involved and to do the right things they are supposed to do. Them encouraging people sustainable development. But as it is right now, it's like it's the same thing. It's like we have continued where the last administration left. What we are looking for also is that we also need the reform in the public service.
Nkoma, MUVI.
Census across the country. The census aims to count people in households, rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, free matters, and should be counted because the census disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
Now experience 4G speeds on your 3G device with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi. Is grace to use when you are in need. With your speaker, Apostle T. Michael, the Apostle of Jesus, at the Government Complex Theatre Hall behind Freedom Statue and National Theme Launch of the Grace of God. Power that breaks every yoke of bondage. Entry is absolutely free. And when all has been said and done, you will be given a free bottle of anointed miracle water and miracle sticker. Music by the Powerhouse. Can't afford to miss this one.
Welcome back. Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu says training of variability. He says understanding climate information and integration in the value chain at local levels can reduce climate risks and increase production and productivity. The minister was speaking during the launch of the training of camp extension officers in the interpretation and application of agro-meteorological information for planning and decision-making purposes in Livingston. Mr. Nzovu says the training will assist in providing timely advice to farmers on when to plant, weed, apply fertilizers, and perform other agricultural activities, and UNDP Deputy Resident Representative capacities to climate impacts.
We will be the decider of whether we increase productivity or not. Training of compensation officers will contribute to strengthening the resilience of smallholder farmers to climate extremes, climate and climate information, and integration into the value chain at the local levels, thereby reducing climate risks and increasing production and productivity. Underscore the importance. Agriculture employs in excess of 70% of our population. So you will be responsible for the livelihoods of more than 70% of the Zambians. Invited ladies and gentlemen, further, this training will also assist camp extension and district officers to provide timely advice to farmers on when to plant, when to weed, when to apply fertilizers, and when to perform other agricultural activities.
Interpretation and dissemination of weather information and services to all small-scale farmers to ensure resilient agriculture.
Luapula Province Health Director says the over 1,000 health workers given to the province will cushion the human resource challenges that Luapula is facing currently. Luapula Province Health Director Dr. Simon Kunda, who toured Twaileta Mini Hospital in Chipungu area of Chiengi District, says the over 1,000 health workers allocated to the province from the recent recruitment will cushion the human resource challenges that the province is currently facing. And Chiengi District Health Director Dr. Kennedy Matanda disclosed that Twaileta Mini Hospital, which is fully completed and is awaiting the official opening, will help residents of Chipungu area and other surrounding areas to stop covering the 20 kilometers they cover to Chiengi District Hospital, and that the district is also facing some challenges with transport between the major institutions.
Located in Chipungu area, few meters from the Democratic Republic of Congo border post, Twaileta Mini Hospital yet to be commissioned, which is 25 kilometers. Chiengi District Medical Director Dr. Kennedy Matanda says the hospital is fully completed and once functional, it will mitigate the distance people cover to Chiengi District Hospital.
We're just waiting for an official handover and then we'll be good to go. So this is beautiful. I think even our staff, they are going to be motivated that this infrastructure will be servicing a population of over 100,000. And if you've seen, the hospital is about 20 kilometers from here. So it means that we are going to cut off actual services near their homes.
And Dr. Matanda revealed that the district has a challenge of an ambulance, hence depends on the vehicle from the district officer.
There is the water rectification system, which has never been finished. I think that is the first thing. Then the other challenge is actually transport. The hospital does not have an ambulance which they can use to refer patients. Movement. Right now, I think as a district we are at 79% of the essential drugs, the drugs that are needed by our population.
Meanwhile, Luapula Province Health Director Dr. Simon Kunda notes that the province is facing a number of successes and also challenges, as the biggest challenge is human resource, which will be mitigated by over 1,000.
A good number of successes that we have recorded as a province, but of course we have some challenges which we need to address as well. The biggest challenge that we have is human resource. Is a great milestone, and I think it will go a long way to alleviate the staff shortage that we have in the province.
As government continues improving the health sector in the district, there is also need to also work on the road network system from Chiengi District to Chiengi. Helen Chisha reporting for MUVI TV News in Chiengi District of Luapula Province.
The Zambian National Farmers Union, ZNFU, says it is saddened over the dumping of several fresh commodities such as cabbage as well as tomatoes on the market. In a statement made available to MUVI TV News, Public Relations Manager Calvin Kalei says the union is worried with the way dumping is orchestrated and done by the few non-farmers who are oversupplying the market on a daily basis, causing a significant drop in commodity prices. He further says that the losses are hurting farmers, especially small-scale farmers, stating that farmers who grow massive hectares of tomatoes to get into value addition as opposed to dumping their products at Soweto, Copperbelt and Kasumbalesa markets. Meanwhile, Mr. Kalei has called on farmers who are involved in the vice to stop, as this is distorting the market and creating an unfair competition, adding that farmers should continue producing and spreading their products. Opposition Democratic Party DP has expressed worry at the state of mines in the country and has DP National Executive Committee member Judith Kabemba attributed the problems that have engulfed the mines to poor management of the affairs by the previous administration. She appealed to the UPND Alliance government to give the people of Zambia information needed for people to know about the status of the mines in the country. Ms. Kabemba has further asked government to be transparent on the status of the minerals, not only on the Copper Belt, but also across the country.
We want to know those companies that are mining at Kajan, those that are mining in all these mining companies, what corporate social responsibility are they offering to our people where mining is taking place? They have never heard a report that shows how much is being produced, how much is being exported, how much tax is government getting from there. We have not heard. We are aware that there are foreign nationals who are running smelters, other things. How much tax are these companies paying? What corporate social responsibility are they giving to our people? Lastly, on mining, we are concerned as a party on the continuous misdirection on the issue of Konkola. Democratic Party is that government cannot sit and continue watching the mine die slowly whilst our miners live for a long time without getting any salary increments. We are alive to the fact that for almost 4 years now, miners at Konkola copper mines have never gotten, as continued to go up. How are they surviving? We are also aware to the fact that production has gone down. We are aware that the only thing that is holding on the mine is smelter, because the open pit.
Constituency Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji has vowed that he will not be derailed by what he has described as excited individuals who have taken the route of reporting him to the police and other law investigation agencies. Mr. Malanji has charged that he is aware that some people are excited and want to get attention from the powers that be, hence using his name for recognition. He says he is a law-abiding citizen who can't sing requisite qualifications. The former Kwacha MP says he will remain focused because he is a product of the people and excited he appeared and other Patriotic Front supporters.
They thought it was a stolen motor vehicle. You know, there's usually this excitement. I'm above that. If I can go to it, I bought police vehicles which I bought from auction sale, and it ends there. All what matters now is to change the registration from what is coming from the police. Well, we'll wait for them to finish their investigation.
As COVID-19 cases keep rising, many business entities are affecting your organization the safety you require in these hard times of the COVID-19. We do knockdown and residual disinfecting procedures for homes, offices, hospitals, churches, and many more. Protect yourself and the people around you and get your business running with our powerful trusted disinfect 9922 or come to the 3rd floor, room 3, Tazara House, corner guidelines. Mask up, sanitize, social distancing, and staying.
This is Melvin.
Hi, Michael.
And this is his house. Melvin always has a lot of people over. Friends, friends of friends, friends of friends of friends. Everybody loves Melvin. S connects up to 32 devices.
Let's take a look at the headlines once again. Defiant bus drivers over the fares. One person has died in South Africa due to GBS after receiving the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. UNIP passes a vote of no confidence in the Ministry of Green Economy. Joe Malanji says he remains unshakable and tells off his critics. This is the end of the Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Virginia Chilongo. Do stand by for the game show.
House Christian Tabernacle presents an all-night prayer meeting at the Government Complex Theatre Hall behind Freedom Statue in Kamwala on the 12th of August 2022 from 20 hours to 05 hours the following morning. It shall be a national theme launch of the grace of God, power that breaks every yoke of bondage. Entry is absolutely free, and when other anointed artists, it shall
belongs to the one.
For all your electrical needs, visit Fidelity Stores now and get quality products by Electrons.